Hi guys, it's Jess from Honest Fiction and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a tag video. It has been quite a while since I've done a tag video. However, I saw the JAN-uary Book Tag and I really loved it. So this tag is really just going to be like a recap of everything I read in 2021, also just my goals for 2022 and everything I look forward to in the next year. So I hope you guys enjoy. Alright guys, like I said, this is the JAN-uary Book Tag, and this was originally created by Agaton. I will leave her channel down in the description below. If you're unfamiliar with my channel, I post new videos every Thursday and Sunday. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. You can also hit that notification bell to be notified whenever I post new bookish content. You can also check out my Instagram and Goodreads, both linked down in the description below. With all that out of the way, let's get into the JAN-uary Book Tag. And the first prompt is, what was the first book you read last year? I believe the first book I read last year was Beartown by Frederick Bachman. This is a multi-perspective story following this small town that is obsessed with hockey. And then one of the star players from the hockey team ends up assaulting one of the girls from the high school, and it's how the entire town deals with this. And this story is just written so beautifully. Frederick Bachman has a gift for doing multi-perspective stories and having each character feel completely fleshed out. I love this book. I love everything Frederick Bachman writes. Like, he's just amazing. So I really enjoyed this book and definitely recommend if you have not read it yet. The next prompt is, what was the last book you read in 2021? So the last book I read was actually a reread. It was Zodiac Academy Cursed Fates, because I was rereading in order to read Heartless Guy. So I very much enjoy all of Zodiac Academy. It is one of my absolute favorite series of all time. I just love the characters. It's amazing. It's so good. If you have not read it, please read it. So if we don't count Cursed Fates, because I really can't get into that because it is, I think, the 5th book in the series, 5th or 6th. The book I read prior to that was Ice Planet Barbarians. So that is by Ruby Dixon. A lot of people are talking about it right now. It is following Georgie, who ends up being kidnapped by these human trafficker aliens, and then they end up dumping her on a planet where she meets a blue alien who has ribbed genitalia and purrs, and they form a relationship, and it goes from there. It was not my cup of tea. However, I can definitely understand why some people really love it. I think it's like a 20-book series, so if you enjoy it, you have a lot of material to get through. Overall, I wasn't a huge fan. All right, the next prompt is, what was your first read of 2021? I'm not really sure. It was either Glint by Raven Kennedy or A Court of Honey and Ash. I can't really talk about Glint because it is the second in a series. So A Court of Honey and Ash is the first in a fantasy romance series, and it is following a half-human, half-fae girl that ends up competing in this tournament in order to become like a royal fae guard. And when she finally completes the tournament and proves that she is a badass fae, like she's been trying to do her whole life, she ends up causing this rift to happen, and all of Underhill, the place where the fae live, disappears, essentially. So then she goes on a quest to try to figure out what really happened. I really enjoyed this book. I really liked that it just like dropped you into this world and you kind of had to figure it out. It was really fun. I'm actually very excited to read the sequel to this book, but overall it was a great way to start 2022. Next up is share 3 of your reading goals for next year. So the first one I've already started. I wanted to utilize Goodreads more, and I've already started to see the benefits of it. I really didn't use it when I first created it. I made a Goodreads about a year ago, but I don't love the star system. I just feel like it doesn't really allow me to express how I feel about a book, so I gotta figure out a better way of doing that. But besides the star system, I love finishing a book and then checking it off. I also really love that I can write notes. It helps me remember how I'm feeling about books. If I read a book at the beginning of the month, I don't film wrap-ups until the very end, so it's really nice to have my thoughts organized. So I'm absolutely loving Goodreads. Another one is I'm trying to get better with not buying books unless I know I'm probably gonna like them if they're on my like anticipated reads and there's a lot of hype, or if I've already read them, listened to them in audio format, and just like really want to have them on my shelves. I went through a time where I was buying a lot of books just because like I wanted my background to be pretty. I have read all of the books behind me, or I do plan on reading. I think I've actually read 99% of these. But I'm gonna try not to buy as many books. I also love my Kindle, and I actually prefer reading books on my Kindle than in physical. So yeah, I definitely just want to get better at not buying books. And the other one is DNFing. I actually don't DNF books very frequently, and I need to get better with it. I was recently reading a romance that I hated, and I don't know why I didn't just DNF it. I think it's because now I want to get my reading count up. But yeah, I need to DNF books, and I already gave 3. I'm going to give 4. I want to read at least 100 books this year. I just missed it last year. I think I read like 87, 88. So this year I definitely want to hit 100. I think that's doable. So yeah, those are all of my reading goals for 2022. Share 3 of your most anticipated titles. Now, I did a whole video, 22 books to look forward to in 2022, that I'll leave linked in the cards in the description. But if I had to narrow it down to 3, I would say House of Sky and Breath, which is the sequel to House of Earth and Blood, part of the Crescent City series by Sarah J. Maas. Really looking forward to that. And then A War, Two Queens by Jennifer L. Armentrout, which is the 4th book in the From Blood and Ash series. And then A Light in the Flame, which is the 2nd book in the Shadow and the Ember series, also by Jennifer L. Armentrout. So those are the ones that I cannot wait for. There are a bunch of others that I'm very excited about. If you're really interested, I would check out the video I just mentioned. But yeah, I think 2022 is going to have some absolutely amazing reads. What goals did you reach and not reach this year? So as far as goals I didn't reach, I already said this. I didn't make 100 books last year. I really wanted to read 100 books. I ended up in the high 80s. That's okay. I feel like it was towards the end of the year. I was in a bit of a reading slump. I didn't read as many. It's fine. As far as goals that I met, I continued posting content on BookTube, and I'm so happy about that because there are times it was really difficult and I didn't feel like putting content out there, but I'm just so happy I kept up with it. I have made such great friends in this community. It is so nice to have people that read similar genres to me that I can talk about books with and just get recommendations. It has been awesome. So thank you all who have just like reached out, even people that message me on Instagram. It like really makes my day when I get messages on there. So thank you guys so much, and I can't wait to go forward in 2022. Are there new releases coming out this year that you've heard of but you have no desire to read? So not particularly. I mean, I'm sure there are books coming out in genres that I don't read that I'm just not aware they're coming out, that I probably have no interest in. There are some books coming out that I'm going to read, but I'm very nervous about. So I know Holly Black is coming out with a new adult fantasy book. I didn't love the Cruel Prince series, so I'm a little leery about jumping into that one, but I will do it. And then Lucy Foley. I haven't actually enjoyed anything I've read by her, but I keep reading her books, and I'm gonna do it again. She's a thriller author, and I'm never crazy about her stories, but The Paris Apartment is coming out at the end of February, and I do plan on reading it. So yeah, there's no books in particular that I'm like really not anticipating reading, but you never know. There are definitely books that I just like aren't in my genre that I wouldn't read. What are some reading habits you want to change this year, if any? So probably reading more before bed instead of scrolling through TikTok. So before bed used to be like my designated reading time. I'd read like 3 or 4 chapters and then go to sleep. Now I'm like scrolling through BookTok and I'll be up until 2 a.m. So both for my like physical health and to read more, I really need to stop doing that. I think that's the only change. I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks. That's definitely helped me read. I do want to prioritize reading more on my Kindle just because I seem to read a lot quicker on my Kindle as opposed to physical books. So that might be a change, but that's really it. Are there any adaptations you're excited for? So obviously the Agaton series, A Court of Thorns and Roses, I am both so excited for, but also dreading because I feel like whoever they cast isn't going to live up to who is in my mind. Which is no fault of theirs. I just feel like there is no Rhysand that walks this earth that I will be okay playing that character. So I'm very excited but also nervous about that, and I don't think that's going to come out in 2022. That's probably going to get pushed into like 2024. And then I think Shadow and Bone Season 2, I'm super excited to see what they do with that. I think that's going to be really good. And I know as soon as I finish this video, another one's going to pop up that I'm excited for, but those are the only ones I can think of right now. But honestly, I think adaptations have been doing pretty well. I watched The Foundation. I didn't read that series, but the show was amazing. The Witcher, also amazing. I do want to read the Witcher series. I read the short stories and the first book, so I have to go from there. And then Wheel of Time, I really enjoyed. So I know it's getting mixed reviews, and there are a lot of differences from the first book now that I've read the first book, but overall, I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see where that adaptation goes. So very much looking forward to those. Favorite bookish memory from last year, and that's reading Mistborn with my husband when we were driving to Virginia, just because I love seeing him so excited over it, and that really got him back into reading. Like I said, now he's reading Wheel of Time, so that was very exciting for me, and I'm happy he just enjoyed that series as much as I did. Carryovers from last year that you still plan on finishing. So if you guys want to see a full video of this, I will do one because there is enough content. Just to name a few, The Guild series, I'm only on the second book. Savage Lands, only on the second book. Care of All, only on the second book. The list goes on. I have a ton of series that I just need to finish. These Violent Delights, I've been saying I'm going to read for like 3 months now, still haven't read it. There's a ton of books that I said I was going to read last year that I still haven't read that I need to read. All right, guys, that's it for the January book tag. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this is super late. I am filming this at the end of January, and it probably won't be out till February, but it was still a very fun tag. So I tag anyone who wants to try this tag out. Now, I said this already, but I post new videos every Thursday and Sunday. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. I will see you all next week. Bye.